We're gonna get this party started. We're gonna get this party started. We're gonna get this party started. It's a Bible reading party. We're gonna get this party started. We're gonna get this party started. We're gonna get this party started. It's a Bible reading party. Hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh. We're gonna get this party started. Oh. I forgot that wasn't plugged in. Let's try it now. There we go. I was like, where's my camera? I forgot I unplugged it. Lights, camera, action. Nope, you gotta turn on the volume, can you? There we go. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Oh, my scarf doesn't want to behave properly today. So I think I'm just gonna do it like this. I was trying to tie it in the back. I think I'm just gonna do it like this today. Well, I guess that's one way to do it. How is everybody doing today? Excuse me while I get myself ready. There we go. It doesn't want to tie properly. So I'm gonna do it the quick. This is a really cool infinity scarf. It's from Target. My favorite place to shop. And there you go. Instant head cover. Passa! What am I looking for? Oh, here we go. I'm looking for my clock. That's why I'm looking over here. Instant head cover via the infinity scarf. It is now 7:09 a.m. It is Saturday morning. It is July 25th, 2020, and we are in week 30 of reading the Bible. This is Texas time, by the way. Texas time! What time is it where you are? Let me know in the comments or on the replay chat. All right, get my screen together. In the live stream, I see the early bird, the Wiz, who says morning. I see Destiny Forever Walks. Hey, says Grand Rising. Grand Rising Kenya. Happy, beautiful Saturday to you, bringing to you many blessings and lots of love. Thank you very much. Hello, the Wiz, and how are you? So good morning to my early birds. Tweet, 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 tweet. Yes, it is a wonderful Saturday morning. And it is a perfect morning for a Bible reading party. So let's get it started. This is my New Believers Bible, compact version, First Steps for New Christians, New Living Translation. And this is my compact Bible dictionary, which is very helpful for many, many ways. The links to both of these pieces of literature, publications are in the description. And this is my study guide. I'm sorry, you guys, if I'm a little choked up. I was trying to scarf down a bagel right before I came on, and I was eating it so fast that I breathed half of it in, and so I've been coughing like the last 3 minutes. I've been coughing the last 3 minutes off camera, and I'm still like, Ahem. Anyhow, as you look to your screen, you should see a gold rectangle on the left side of that gold rectangle. It will say read. On the right side, it'll say checkpoints. I think we have got most of these checkpoints already. A closed temple, we read about that in Second Chronicles. A thief in the night, I think we read about that in First Thessalonians. The lawless one, we read yesterday in Second Thessalonians. A search of the archives. Unless that's going to be something upcoming, I think that's when they found the law of Moses back in Second Corinthians, and a joyful Passover, which was also in Second Corinthians. Oh, why do I keep saying Corinthians? Chronicles. We were in the Old Testament earlier this week. I don't know why I want to say Corinthians. I don't know why. But yeah, Second Chronicles, we found a closed temple. Let's see, a search of the archives, and a joyful Passover, especially when King Josiah was on the throne. And so here we go. These last two lines here on the left side where it says read, today and tomorrow we're going to be reading Ezra. So we're back in the Old Testament. Yes. In case you are new here and you've never seen this before, this is the cover of my book. Diane Stortz is the author. A Woman's Guide to Reading the Bible in a Year is the title of the book, and this is how it's laid out. It will break down to you week by week what's going on. Each week has like a theme to it. Not that the author made it up, but it happens to be the theme of what's going on in the book. So, excuse me. So here we are right here at the bottom, week 30, return and rebuilding. Return and rebuilding. Coming back and building up. That is the theme of this week. Last week was good kings and bad kings. And yeah, so there we go. This live stream is brought to you by thebiblein1year.com. Thebiblein1year.com is your best resource for finding motivation and tools so that you can challenge yourself to read the Bible in 1 year. Yes, that's my narrator's voice there, and this is my website. Isn't it cool? Yes, it is. I happen to leave it on this page right here just to show you. This is one of the things that you can see on here. If you do go to the Bible in 1 year, make sure you use the number, not the word one. If you go to the Bible in 1 year, you will see things like a list of reading plans. So if you do want to read the Bible in a year, my way is not the only way. There's tons of places. Here's a list of links right here. They've got their own plans. This happens to be the book that I'm using, and you can kind of preview through it and see the breakdown of what I just showed you. Week by week, it will show you, let's see, come on, go. It will show you week by week what you're reading. And yeah, it just gives you a little bit of a preview of the book. And if you would like to purchase it, just to let you know, this is an affiliate link, so to no extra cost to you, I'll get a little extra something if you decide to purchase this or one of the other products that are on this website. Got some other media here.
Things better. Absolutely. I would recommend everybody, if possible, when they're listening to this, to take out a note where they felt bored. On a scale of 0 to 10, boredom is probably a 0, right? Anything times 0.
That little audio clip there is like a 17-minute audio clip. It is from Jim Quick. He is a creator of some learning products, memory boosting products, and I actually heard this on the radio last week, and they were talking about memory and learning, and I thought that would be great because if you do want to read the Bible for the purpose of actually learning it, being really familiar with it, not just going through it in a year, you want to make sure that you're going to be able to retain what you're reading and really learn what you're reading and make it stick. And so I thought that was a good addition here to put that little audio clip here of what I was listening to in the radio that day. There's some other stuff on here, including some Bible games on one of the pages, and there's tons of downloadable apps that you can actually get on your phone. I think I did a blog article. Yes, this is the blog article here on some games, some fun games that you can get. Now, I don't have an Apple phone, or what do you call it, an iPhone, but I do have an Android, and through the Google Play Store, you can find tons of Bible games to reinforce what you're already studying and what you're reading. Here's a list right here of some links that will lead you to some trivia games, quiz games, true and false games, things like that, and that will help you to remember what you're reading through the Bible. So, on that note, let's bring it on back. Let's bring it on back. Where am I? Am I back? I'm not back. Am I back? I'm back. I'm back! I'm back! All right, let me get back to you. Now I can see myself. I need to be able to see you. Okay, I can see you guys again. So, this is my dictionary. This is my Bible. Let me jump on into the book of Ezra. I think it's so cool that I'm actually learning the places of the Bible, or like where to find something. Like for years, I'm like, the book of Joshua. I don't know, is Joshua in the Bible? Like I didn't know what was in there. I knew some of the basic stuff, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, Genesis, Exodus, Proverbs, Psalms, but I didn't know all the books, and now I can kind of like go right to it. So that makes me feel good about myself. Let me give you a close-up of what this looks like here. This is the book of Ezra, and there's like a little intro here to let me know what's going on in the book of Ezra, such as Ezra is the author, the date written is 450 BC, the genre is narrative. So yesterday and the other couple of days this week, we were in the epistles. the genre of the epistles. This time we're back in a narrative. And it says, Ezra relates the account of the two returns from Babylon. Because remember, we were reading the last couple of weeks that they had been exiled after King Necho from Egypt came in, and also Nebuchadnezzar from Persia came in, and they were taken away. So now they're returning from Babylon. It picks up where 2 Chronicles let off, showing how God fulfilled his promise to bring back his people after 70 years of being in captivity. 70 years of exile and captivity, that's what it says. And so here we go in chapter 1, starting right now. We are reading chapters 1, 2, and 3. That's right. Okay, it's a short book. It's a very short book. Chapter 1 talks about Cyrus allowing the exiles to return. In the first year of King Cyrus of Persia, the Lord fulfilled the prophecy he had given through Jeremiah. He stirred the heart of Cyrus to put this proclamation in writing and to send it throughout his kingdom. This is what King Cyrus of Persia says. The Lord, the God of heaven, has given me all the kingdoms of the earth. He has appointed me to build him a temple at Jerusalem, which is in Judah. Any of you who are his people may go to Jerusalem in Judah to rebuild his temple of the Lord, the God of Israel, who lives in Jerusalem. And may your God be with you. Wherever this Jewish remnant is found, let their neighbors contribute toward their expenses by giving them silver and gold, supplies for the journey, and livestock, as well as a voluntary offering for the temple of God in Jerusalem. So that's the proclamation that he wrote. Verse 5 says, Then God stirred the hearts of the priests and Levites and the leaders of the tribes of Judah and Benjamin to go to Jerusalem to rebuild the temple of the Lord. And all their neighbors assisted by giving them articles of silver and gold, supplies for the journey, and livestock. They gave them many valuable gifts in addition to all the voluntary offerings. Then King Cyrus himself brought out the articles that King Nebuchadnezzar had taken from the Lord's temple in Jerusalem and had placed in the temple of his own gods. Cyrus directed Mithridath, the treasurer of Persia, to count these items and present them to Sheshbazzar, the leader of the exiles returning to Judah. This is a list of the items that were returned. 30 gold basins, 1,000 silver basins, 29 silver incense burners, 30 gold bowls, 410 silver bowls, and 1,000 other items. That's what it says, 1,000 other items right there. It's a little list. In all, there were 5,400 articles of gold and silver. Sheshbazzar brought all of these along with the exiles when the exiles went from Babylon to Jerusalem. That is chapter 1, just like that, in a flash. So the nation of Israel is coming back out. They're able to go back home, essentially, and they're able to build back up that temple. This is chapter 2, talking about the exiles who returned with Zerubbabel. I wonder if that name is in my direct dictionary. I don't have to say that name very often, but when I do say it, I wonder if I'm saying it properly. Hey, look there, right there. My hand went straight to it. Yeah, my hand went straight to it. It's like it was waiting for me. Yes, you want to pronounce my name? Open this dictionary and learn. So the name is pronounced Zerubbabel. Oh, okay. Zerubbabel. And the name means offspring of Babylon. Head of the tribe of Judah at the time of the return from the Babylonian captivity, prime builder of the second temple, Zerubbabel is a shadowy figure. Why do I call him shadowy? I'm intrigued now. Is a shadowy figure who emerges as the political and spiritual head of the tribe of Judah at the time of the Babylonian captivity. Zerubbabel led the first group of captives back to Jerusalem and set about rebuilding the temple on the old site. For some 20 years, he was closely associated with prophets, priests, and kings until the new temple was dedicated and the Jewish sacrificial system was reestablished. As a child of the captivity, Zerubbabel's name literally means offspring of Babylon. He was the son of Shealtiel or Salathiel. You can read. We're going to read about that in Ezra 3 and 2, and the grandson of Jehoiakim, the captive king of Judah. Zerubbabel was probably Shealtiel's adopted or Levirate son. Oh, okay, so like the babies that were dedicated to the temple, kind of like Solomon. Okay. He was probably the adopted or Levirate son. Whatever his blood relationship to King Jehoiakim, Zerubbabel was Jehoiakim's legal successor and heir. A descendant of David, Zerubbabel was in the direct line of the ancestry of Jesus. Zerubbabel apparently attained considerable status with his captors while living in Babylon. Kind of reminds me of Joseph. Remember Joseph, Jacob's favorite son? The one whose brothers sold him into slavery, but he found favor in Potiphar's house. Zerubbabel apparently attained considerable status with his captors while living in Babylon. During the early reign of Darius, who was recognized as a prince of Judah, Zerubbabel was probably in the king's service since he had been appointed by the Persians as governor of Judah. With the blessings of Cyrus, Zerubbabel and Jeshua, the high priest, led the first band of captives back to Jerusalem. And we're going to read that in just a second. They also returned the gold and silver vessels that Nebuchadnezzar had removed from the ill-fated temple. Almost immediately, they set up an altar for burnt offerings, kept the Feast of Tabernacles, and took steps to rebuild the temple. After rebuilding the temple foundation for the first 2 years, construction came to a standstill for 17 years. Oh no. This delay came principally because of the opposition from settlers in Samaria who wanted to help with the building. Well, if they wanted to help, why would that be a problem? When the offer was refused, because the Samaritans' association with heathen worship, the Samaritans disrupted the building project. Counselors were hired who misrepresented the captives in court, causing the Persian king to withdraw his support. The delay in building also was due to the preoccupation of Zerubbabel and other captives with building houses for themselves. Urged by the prophets Haggai and Zechariah, Zerubbabel diligently resumed work on the temple in the second year of the reign of Darius Hystaspes of Persia. This renewed effort to build the temple was a model of cooperation involving the captives, the prophets, and the Persian kings. Zerubbabel received considerable grants of money and materials from Persia, and continuing encouragement from the prophets, Haggai and Zechariah. The temple was finished in 4 years. Ain't that something? They started for 2 years, disruption for 17 years, and it only really took them 4 years to finish. Wow. And dedicated with great pomp and rejoicing. The celebration was climaxed with the observance of the Passover. If there was a discordant note, it likely came from the older Jews, who had earlier wept because the new temple lacked the splendor of Solomon's temple. For some mysterious reason, Zerubbabel is not mentioned in connection with the temple dedication. Neither is he mentioned after this time. Perhaps he died or retired from public life upon completion of the temple. His influence was so great, however, that historians designate the second temple as Zerubbabel's temple. God was apparently pleased with Zerubbabel's role in bringing the captives home and reestablishing temple worship. On God's instruction, Haggai promised Zerubbabel a special blessing. I will take you, Zerubbabel, my servant, the son of Shealtiel, says the Lord, and will make you as a signet ring. I will make you as a signet ring. Okay, for I have chosen you. And that is the heading for Zerubbabel. Now I know how to pronounce the name, and now I know a little bit more about him. Let's see. Still here, Kenya, and listening with both ears. Why, thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. I know that sometimes people just like to kick back, sit back, and listen to the soothing sound of my voice. Boy, I think it's gonna rain today. It's so cloudy and dark out there. Usually it's lighter by now in Texas. But yes, thank you. Thank you for joining in, and thank you for the feedback. Because sometimes I do wonder, are they still awake? This is chapter 2, talking about the exiles who returned with Zerubbabel. I feel so much better when I can pronounce their names properly. Here is the list of the Jewish exiles of the provinces who returned from their captivity. King Nebuchadnezzar had deported them to Babylon, but now they returned to Jerusalem and the other towns in Judah where they originally lived. Their leaders were Zerubbabel, Jeshua, Nehemiah, Sariah, Realiah, Mordecai, Bilshan, Mispar, Bigvai, Rehum, and Baana. This is the number of men of Israel who returned from exile. From the family of Parash, we got 2,172. From the family of Shephatiah, we got 372. From the family of Arah, we've got 775. From the family of Pahath Moab, descendants of Jeshua and Joab, we've got 2,812. From the family of Elam, we've got 1,254. From the family of Zatu, we've got 945. The family of Zakai, 760. The family of Bani, or Bani, 642. The family of Bebai, 623. The family of Asgad, 1,222. The family of Adonikam, 666. The family of Bigvai, 2,056. The family of Aden, 554. The family of Ater, 98. These are the descendants of Hezekiah. The family of Bezai, 323. The family of Dror, 112. The family of Hashum, 223. The family of Gebar, 95. The family of Bethlehem, 123. The people of, interesting, they just started switching it from family to people. Okay. The people of Bethlehem, 123. The people of Netophah, 56. The people of Anathoth, 128. The people of Beth Esmaveth, 42. The people of Kiriath Jearim, Kaphira and Beeroth, 743. And the people of Ramah and Geba, 621. The people of Michmash, 122. The people of Bethel and Ai, 223. Now they're going to switch from saying people to citizens. I'm curious as why. If you know why we went from family to people to citizens, let me know in the chat or in the comment section after the fact. I'm really curious as to why that difference is like that. Let's see if we can show. It's a little bit of an angle because the light is so close by. There we go. Oh, come on, there we go. And now slide on over here. Okay, so you can see on the screen, I started off with the family, and we went from family to people, and from people to citizens. You see that? I'm just curious as to why is there a distinction between family, people, and citizens? Citizens are like from a town and a city, I know. Family, individual family members, but people. I wonder why that distinction. I'm curious. All right, let me finish up talking about the citizens. The citizens of Nebo, the citizens of Magabish, the citizens of West Elam, the citizens of Harim, the citizens of Lod, Hadid, and Ono, the citizens of Jericho, oh man, I'm not even seeing the amount anymore. Sorry. The citizens of Nebo came back in the amount of 52 people. The citizens of Magbish, it was 156 people. The citizens of West Elam was 1,254 people. The citizens of Harim was 320 people. The citizens of Lod, Hadid, and Ono, 725. The citizens of Jericho was 345. The citizens of Sanaya was 3,630. And these are the priests who returned from exile. From the family of Jediah through the line of Jeshua, we had 973. Through the family of Immer was 1,052. From the family of Pashur was 1,247. From the family of Harim was 1,017. Now these are the Levites who returned from exile. Priests and then Levites. Sometimes I'm confused as to why there's a difference, but I probably should read more about that. These are the Levites who returned. The families of Jeshua and Kadmiel, descendants of Hodaviah, were 74. The singers of the family of Asaph were 128. The gatekeepers of the families of Shalom, Ater, Talmon, Akub, Hatita, and Shobai were 139. And the descendants of the following temple servants returned from exile: Zia, Hasufa, Taboath, Keros, Siaiha, Padan, Lebana, Hagaba, Akub, Hagab, Shelmai, Hanan, Gidel, Gehar, Riah, Rezin, Nakoda, Gazam, Uzzah, Paseah, Basai, Asna, Meunim, Nephusim, Bakbuk, Hakufa, and Harhur. Oops, we still got more over here on this page. Bazluth, Mehida, Harsha, Barkos, Sisera, Tema, Neziah, and Hatifa. The descendants of these servants of King Solomon returned from exile: Sotai, Hasophereth, Peruda, Jeala, Darkon, Gidel, Shephatiah, Hatil, Pokereth Hazebaim, and Amy. In all, the temple servants and descendants of Solomon's servants numbered 392. Another group returned at this time from the towns of Tel Melah, Tel Harsha, Kerub, Adan, and Immer. However, they cannot prove that they or their families were descendants of Israel. This group included the families of Deliah, Tobiah, and Nekoda, a total of 652 people. I was wondering that as I was reading through this list, I was wondering, like, you guys have been gone for 70 years, and it's not like if you're in exile, are you able to keep your standards of living? Are you able to keep, well, me and my family, this is how we live. We over here, I'm over here, me and my granny and my sister and my brother. And if you're in exile, you might be split up. You might, have to, instead of being one big family, maybe there's smaller, they're splitting up the families. So I'm wondering, if you're in exile and you're probably mixing with the people there that might already be there, how do you keep track of who's who? I was just thinking that. And here we go talking about there is a group that could not prove that they or their families were descendants of Israel. How terrible might that would have been. This group included the families of Deliah, Tobiah, and Nekoda, a total of 652. Verse 61, we're still in chapter 2 here. It says, 3 families of priests, Obiah, Hekos, and Barzillai, also returned. This Barzillai had married a woman who was a descendant of Barzillai of Gilead, and he had taken her family name. Oh, he had taken her family name. They searched for their names in the genealogical records, but they were not found, so they were disqualified from serving as priests. The governor told them not to eat the priest's share of food or from the sacrifices until the priest could consult the Lord about the matter by using the Urim and Thummim. Those were the sacred lots. So a total of 42,360 people returned to Judah, in addition to 7,337 servants and 200 singers, both men and women. And they took with them 736 horses, 254 mules, and 435 camels, and 6,720 donkeys. When they arrived at the temple of the Lord in Jerusalem, some of the family leaders made voluntary offerings toward the rebuilding of God's temple on its original site, and each leader gave as much as he could. The total of their gifts came to 61,000 gold coins, 6,250 pounds of silver, and 100 robes for the priests. So the priests, the Levites, the singers, the gatekeepers, the temple servants, and some of the common people settled in villages near Jerusalem, and the rest of the people returned to their towns throughout Israel. That's chapter 2. That chapter was a little bit more in depth, I know. Chapter 1 was really quick, and then chapter 2, it was a breakdown, almost like a census. I mean, I was thinking that too, like, is it census time to figure out who is who and who came back? I think I saw some movement over here. Good morning, 40 fam, says Nicole. And bless the like button. Bless it, warm them palms up, or thumbs up, or mouse clickers up, depending on how you're watching. Grand day, Nicole, and how are you? That is what Miss Destiny Forever Walk says. I think I'm on my last piece today. Return and building. I was wondering what that was going to mean, return and building, because all this week we've been talking about Thessalonians and Chronicles, but in Chronicles they were exiled, and now, today and tomorrow, they're coming back. Okay, yes, Ezra 1 and 3. So this right here, ladies and gentlemen, of the live stream and also of the replay, this is the last chapter for today. It's all about the altar being rebuilt, chapter 3. In early autumn, when the Israelites had settled in their towns, all the people assembled in Jerusalem with a unified purpose. Right on. Then Jeshua, son of Jehozadak, joined his fellow priest and Zerubbabel, son of Shealtiel, with his family in rebuilding the altar of the God of Israel. They wanted to sacrifice burnt offerings on it, as instructed in the law of Moses, the man of God. Even though the people were afraid of the local residents, they rebuilt the altar at its old site. Then they began to sacrifice burnt offerings on the altar to the Lord each morning and evening. The residents, the local residents. So when they were exiled, who moved in? When they were taken away, who was there? And how awkward that must be. I'm in my house. For whatever reason, I get put out. When I'm able to make my way back, there's somebody else living here in my house, and now I feel uncomfortable in my own house? Just a thought. They celebrated the festival of shelters as prescribed in the law, sacrificing the number of burnt offerings specified for each day of the festival. They also offered the regular burnt offering and the offerings required for the new moon celebrations and the annual festivals as prescribed by the Lord. The people also gave voluntary offerings to the Lord. 15 days before the festivals of shelters began, the priest had begun to sacrifice burnt offerings to the Lord. This was even before they had started to lay the foundation of the Lord's temple. And in verse 7 of chapter 3, the people begin to rebuild the temple. Then the people hired masons and carpenters and bought cedar logs from the people of Tyre and Sidon. That must be a really popular place for lumber, because other kings in the past have always went there for what was the cypress wood and some other and cedar. It must be like the place to go. Okay, verse 7. The people hired masons and carpenters and brought cedar logs from the people of Tyre and Sidon, paying them with food, wine, and olive oil. The logs were brought down from the Lebanon mountain and floated along the coast of the Mediterranean Sea to Joppa, for King Cyrus had given permission for this. The construction of the temple of God began in mid-spring, during the second year after they arrived in Jerusalem. The workforce was made up of everyone who had returned from exile, including Zerubbabel, son of Shealtiel, Jeshua, son of Jehozadak, and his fellow priests and all of the Levites. The Levites who were 20 years old or older were put in charge of rebuilding the Lord's temple. The workers at the temple of God were supervised by Jeshua with his sons and relatives, and Kadmiel and his sons, all the descendants of Hodaviah. They were helped in this task by the Levites of the family of Henadad. When the builders completed the foundation of the Lord's temple, the priests put on their robe and took their places to blow their trumpets. And they did it just like that. And the Levites, descendants of Asaph, clashed their cymbals to praise the Lord just as King David had prescribed. With praise and thanks, they sang this song to the Lord. He is good. His faithful love for Israel endures forever. And they said it just like that. Then all the people gave a great shout, praising the Lord because the foundation of the Lord's temple had been laid. But many of the older priests, Levites, and other leaders who had seen the first temple, they wept out loud when they saw the new temple's foundation. The others, however, were shouting for joy. The joyful shouting and weeping mingled together in a loud noise that could be heard in the far distance. That is chapter 3. That is the reading for today. And just in case you didn't get those words from my singing, they were singing, He is good. His faithful love for Israel endures forever. That was a song of praise. Yeah, I can see how they would have felt when you know how something is supposed to be, when you know what it used to be, when you know how great it was, and then somebody either comes to replace it or substitute it, or it's not the same. It's not the same. So that's where we're leaving off today. Ezra 3, it says there was a mixture of joyful shouting and weeping for what was lost. That's Ezra 1 through 3. I sure do thank you for joining the Bible reading party here on Boulevard 40. As I am reading through, let me come on back to my live stream. Hey, Eva Frazier came in. Eva Frazier came in and says, I hit the like button, snap, snap. And Miss Destiny Forever Walks greets her and says, how are you? And give a heart. There's lots of hearts in here today. There's lots of heart with a little cross in it, the little carrying symbol. I always think of it as the Red Cross. I don't know why. I'm running late this morning, but I'm here. You are never late because you can always hit the replay. Yeah, we're actually done right now. That was Ezra. We are back in the New Testament. Excuse me. We're back in the Old Testament. Yesterday we were going through Second Thessalonians. The day before that we were in First Thessalonians of the New Testament, and hanging out with the people of Thessalonica. I feel so good about myself when I can properly pronounce words using my handy dandy Bible dictionary. It makes me feel smart. Thessalonica and Zerubbabel. That's who I discovered today. So yeah, I'm ready to do this outro prayer, but this is a pretty short one. It's like the actual reading is like 30 minutes long outside of that first about 5 to 10 minutes because I had the screensaver going for a little bit. But yeah, play it back and like they say, play it again, Sam. On that note, Lord, thank you for today. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. Yes, 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 yes. That's what you're going to rejoice in. Lord, thank you for today. Thank you for this wonderful Sabbath and or Saturday. Thank you for a day off. Hallelujah. Thank you for a day off. Thank you for a day off. Woo. And thank you for this opportunity to read my Bible to those who wish to listen to your word. I pray, Lord, that as they listen to the word, they're encouraged to read the Bible on their own, to come to their own understanding, build their own faith, build a relationship with you, find their purpose through you, and live their best life. That is my prayer, Lord, with all joy and thanksgiving, just like them priests that was making all that noise at the rebuilding of the temple. I am joyful. Amen. Cha-cha, cha-cha, cha-cha. Yes. Sometimes you do have to rejoice. There's some gospel song on it, but I'm pretty sure the gospel song is based off of a scripture, and it's called "Encourage Yourself." I don't know the name of the singer who does it, but there is the proverb or the saying that sometimes you have to encourage yourself. However you're feeling, however you're doing, whatever's going on, you have to be your own spiritual dynamo. Do you know what a dynamo is? Let's find out. Oh my goodness, I gotta clean up my bookshelf. Oh, my books are about to fall. A dynamo is basically. I'm still gonna read you my dictionary, but oh yeah, because these books are just about ready to fall. A dynamo is basically something that like makes its own energy, and it's like continual energy. Like once you set it in motion, it's an engineering like mechanical thing. But once you set it in motion, it keeps going and going by its own force. So you have to be that for yourself. Well, let me read it. Let me look it up for you. I love my little dictionary. Oh, it must be on here. Dynamic, dynamics, dynamism, dynamite, dynamo. Here we go. An electric generator, especially for direct current. An energetic, hardworking, forceful person. And yeah, I thought it was going to give me a little bit more than that, but it is something that once you get it started, it's able to keep itself going. So this is the day that the Lord has made. I want you to rejoice. I want you to make yourself happy. I want you to think happy thoughts. I want you to be joyful and grateful and think about all the good things that have happened to you, that are happening to you, and all the good things that are in you. So just be happy and rejoice and be content. Can't always be happy. Ain't happy all the time. Trust me, I am not always in a good mood. For example, this week, but we won't go there. This week at work was terrible. But when I can, I think about it and I'm like, rejoice, rejoice. And I get that little dynamo going. Choo choo. Yes. Yes. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, I will see you at the next Bible reading party. And don't forget to check out thebiblein1year.com for updates. See ya.